This shift isn't a sign of isolation, nor is it something to be concerned about. In fact, it's a completely natural response, both from your brain and your emotions as you grow older. As your perspective on life changes, so do your social needs. And there are deep, underlying reasons why you no longer feel the urge to engage the way you once did. Here's the good news. This doesn't mean you're losing yourself. Quite the opposite. It means you're getting to know yourself better than ever before. In today's video, we're diving into 5 key reasons why people naturally withdraw from social interactions as they age, and why this could actually be one of the clearest signs of emotional growth and self-awareness. Here's what we're about to uncover. 1. A growing desire for peace and quiet. Why do social interactions that used to be fun now feel mentally exhausting? 2. Shifting values and priorities. Why don't you feel the need to maintain every relationship like you once did? 3. Emotional burnout. What causes you to pull back from one-sided relationships? 4. Lower tolerance for negativity and shallow conversations. Why do small talk and gossip suddenly seem like a waste of time? 5. A stronger awareness of time's limits. Why do you find yourself being more intentional with how you spend your time? So if you've ever caught yourself wondering, is there something wrong with me? Stop right there. Instead of worrying, let's explore this shift together, because it could actually be a sign that you're entering a deeper, more fulfilling stage of life. Stay with me until the end, because understanding these reasons won't just help you feel more at peace with these changes, it will also help you make better choices about how you want to spend the rest of your life. Ready? Let's get started. First reason, a growing desire for peace and quiet. Have you ever noticed that small talk, crowded gatherings, or background noise don't feel as enjoyable as they once did? The things that used to bring excitement, even a sense of necessity, now leave you feeling drained rather than energized. Take George, for example. He used to be the life of the party. The guy who loved engaging with everyone, always up for a conversation. But over time, he began to realize that he enjoyed quiet mornings more than endless chatter. Instead of noisy social events, he found himself gravitating toward peaceful moments, reading a book, taking solo walks, or simply embracing the silence that he once overlooked. So why does this happen? The truth is, as we age, our brains become more sensitive to external stimulation. Loud conversations, chaotic environments, and surface-level interactions no longer provide the same thrill. Instead, they start to feel overwhelming. But this shift doesn't mean you're becoming distant or antisocial. It simply means you're learning to appreciate the power of stillness, something you may not have prioritized before. And here's the key takeaway. This isn't isolation, it's growth. When you recognize that not every conversation is worth having, not every event is a must attend, and not every connection deserves your energy, you start making space for what truly brings you inner peace. And that, more than anything, is a sign of wisdom. Reason 2, changing values and priorities. Have you ever felt that relationships that once seemed essential now don't hold the same meaning? That large gatherings, polite small talk, and surface-level connections no longer feel as fulfilling? Instead, you may find yourself craving deeper, more meaningful conversations, interactions that go beyond social niceties. Margaret used to be the glue that held her social circle together. She planned gatherings, remembered birthdays, and made it a point to stay connected with everyone. But over time, she had a realization. Not every connection is worth holding on to. Instead of stretching herself thin across too many relationships, she began focusing on the ones that truly mattered. The ones that brought her joy, understanding, and a sense of belonging. So why does this shift happen? As we grow older, we start to recognize that our time and energy are limited. Superficial interactions and obligatory get-togethers lose their appeal. Instead, there's a natural tendency to filter out relationships that no longer add value, choosing instead to invest in the ones that truly enrich our lives. But here's what's important. This isn't about shrinking your world, it's about curating it. You no longer feel pressured to be everywhere or maintain relationships that don't align with who you are today. Because in the end, life isn't about the number of people you know. It's about the ones who truly walk beside you on this journey. Third reason, emotional burnout, when you've given too much. Have you ever felt like you're always the one listening, always the one offering support, yet when you need someone to lean on, there's no one there? After years of giving your time, energy, and care to others, at some point you start to feel drained. Not because you don't care anymore, but because you've given so much without receiving enough in return. Robert knows this feeling all too well. He was the dependable friend, the supportive family member, the colleague who always stepped in to help. Whenever someone needed advice, a favor, or just a listening ear, he was there. But over time, he started to notice something. Many of the relationships in his life only existed as long as he was the one giving. And when he needed even a little bit of that same care, silence. And so, Robert did something he never imagined. He started stepping back. Not out of bitterness, not because he resented anyone, but because he realized he needed to protect himself too. Constantly giving without balance had left him exhausted. This is a realization that many people come to as they get older. They start to see that not every relationship is meant to last, and not every connection deserves to be maintained. And here's the truth. This isn't selfish. It's self-preservation, because no one can pour from an empty cup forever. Choosing to walk away from one-sided relationships doesn't mean you're shutting yourself off from the world. It means you're choosing to protect your own peace, because you deserve that too. Reason 4, reduce patience with negativity and superficiality. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a conversation and suddenly realized you just don't care anymore? The complaints, the gossip, the endless small talk that once felt like a normal part of socializing now seem exhausting and unnecessary. Linda knows this feeling well. She used to be the patient listener, always nodding along as people vented about the same problems over and over, engaging in idle chit-chat just to be polite. But one day she had a realization. These conversations weren't adding anything to her life. In fact, they were draining her. So, what changed? As people grow older, they start valuing peace and positivity more than they value fitting into social expectations. They no longer have the patience for endless cycles of complaints, pointless discussions, or conversations that feel like they're going nowhere. Instead, they seek meaningful interactions, ones that bring understanding, encouragement, or simply a sense of lightness and ease. And here's the important part. This isn't about being distant or difficult. It's about being intentional. When you realize that protecting your inner peace matters more than blending into conversations that don't serve you, you start making wiser choices about how you spend your time. You're not avoiding people. You're simply choosing to protect your energy from things that no longer align with who you are. And that is not just a preference, it's wisdom. Reason 5, greater awareness of the limits of time. There comes a moment in life when you realize time isn't infinite. It's not a fear, and it's not a pessimistic thought. It's simply the truth. Every day that passes is a piece of time you'll never get back. And when that realization sinks in, you start thinking differently about how you spend your days. Richard used to say yes to every invitation, attend every event, and maintain relationships out of obligation. But one day he stopped and asked himself, am I doing all of this because I genuinely want to, or just because I feel like I have to? That was the turning point. He started choosing moments that actually brought him joy. A peaceful morning with a cup of coffee, a meaningful conversation with a loved one, or simply enjoying his own company without feeling guilty about it. Psychologists call this socio-emotional selectivity theory. As people become more aware of life's limits, they naturally shift their focus from quantity to quality in their relationships. They no longer feel the need to maintain every social connection. Instead, they invest in the ones that truly matter. And here's the truth. This isn't isolation, it's freedom. Once you understand how precious each day is, you stop wasting time on forced conversations, empty obligations, or people who don't bring value to your life. Instead, you start living with intention, savoring every moment, and dedicating your time to what truly deserves it. If you found yourself stepping back from social gatherings, losing interest in surface-level relationships, or simply wanting more time for yourself, don't worry, this isn't a sign of isolation. It's a natural step forward in your journey of personal growth. As life changes, so do we. What truly matters isn't the number of friends you have or how socially active you are. It's how you feel within yourself. Choosing to be more selective with your relationships, prioritizing peace, and dedicating time to things that genuinely fulfill you isn't selfish. It's a way of living more intentionally and meaningfully. So embrace this shift. Give yourself permission to enjoy stillness, to surround yourself with people who truly enrich your life, and most importantly, to live in a way that brings you happiness. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you noticed these changes in your own life? What have you learned from your experiences? Drop a comment below and share your story. And don't forget, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on more content like this. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.